Okay, let's see here. I want to make a little more room here. It's pretty bad. I have a desk that's so big and I don't have hardly any room at all on it. Let's see if I can move my track back a little bit and scoot my locomotives back a little bit. I want to scoot this back. There we go. I've got a little better view here. And I was kind of disappointed last night, but it ended up turning out better than it was. You can see there, for some reason, that clear coat mat didn't want to adhere to the top of the cab as well as it did to the rest of the locomotive. But everywhere else, it did just fine. For whatever reason up here, there must have been some dirt or oil or something. And it's weird. It's one of them deals where it looks worse on camera than it does in real life. It actually flattened out and looks decent for what it was. But we're going to go ahead and put this dummy together this evening. I'm just kind of waiting on some people to show up here. I'm going to give it another couple minutes. Last night we had a few guys that were able to get on. And after we're done putting this together, if you can't tell, this is a Tyco, but after we're done putting this together, we're going to look at a athearn. Ooh, I haven't got enough room here. An old athearn bluebox. It's a GP50 undecorated model, which you can see here was pretty cheap back when they first started making them. So we're going to have a look at that this evening. But you can see everything I've got here ready to go, and I'm pretty sure that everything that I'm doing, because I'm not putting a motor side in it. It's just two of the rear pickup sides that I'm putting in it. Everything I've kind of tested out to see how it's going to go, and I'm pretty sure it's all going to go together like I want it to. I'm going to have to live with a few of these wheels having some cracks in them, but they sit still really tight on the axles. So I'm thinking I'll be okay there for now until I can get my hands on some more Tyco parts, which are going to work great for a lot of these custom dummies that I'm going to do. I get a real kick out of making stuff that with these Power Torx motors just was unreliable and not really worth a whole lot into something that's more detailed and can be drugged behind something else around my layout, which at the moment isn't much, but hopefully here soon I'll be able to start building on. Go ahead and get the ball rolling here. Because whether anybody's able to pop in or not, naturally I'm not a massive channel like some of the other people, but people will be able to see what I'm doing and hopefully they're entertained by it. And then I can pull clips out of this too if I want to make some shorts later in the future. So if you see here, we've got the Tyco shell that I've got custom painted and finished. And the first thing I'm going to do, now that the clear coat's on and everything's cured, is we're going to put this piece in. You notice this one's a little different than the other one. The other one's got the even pieces on both ends, and this one's wide on one end because it sits in the front of the shell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to adjust my camera up just a little and slide this back, and I've got that slidden back about as far as I can. I'm going to set the parts off to the side for now, and we'll add them as we go. Take the wheels off to the side because we're a little ways off from that. We're going to go and see what we got going here. I think 9 o'clock at night is going to be about the best time for me to do these. Seems that's when everybody's kind of winding down for the evening and getting online. So I think that's what I'm going to try to stick with. There we go. See, and then there's the front popped in. Well, there we go. The front pops in right here, and it pops in right there. And then the middle one kind of spread the center. And there's one side and then the other side, and that one's popped in. You can see they pop in right there. And they pop in right there. Now we'll do the back. And since we're not putting a motor in, I don't have to worry about wiring or lighting or anything for now. Let's slip this in. We got a hole starts here. There's one and two. And then on the back, and then they're a stretch. There we go. It's in there. There's number one and number two right there under that vent. Oh, that one popped out. There we go. You can see those are both in now. The next thing I want to do, and there's a particular order to doing this. I'm going to go ahead and put the weight in. And you see it's got those little ears right here. It says Tyco right on it. I'm going to put these in. And they go right here. And then I'm going to try to get the fuel tanks in afterwards. I just got to be real gentle doing this and try not to mess this up. I'm going to get those parts part of the way in, and then you have these. You put these on, and you see they got that notch in the top. Well, there's a notch right above this tab here, so you slip that in over that notch. Make sure your holes are lined up like so. Just like that. Do the same on the other side. And I went ahead and painted these two while I was doing it. There we go. And then we'll slide that weight into place. And then these fuel tanks kind of lock in alongside. There we go. That side popped in, and that side did the same. And now we've got fuel tanks on it. Now all we're going to do, take your spring and make sure that it stays on there, but we're going to put that up in here. And I think we're going to do the rear first. The front's going to be kind of experimental. I've never put a big truck like or a big, I don't know what you would call this piece, but I've never put one of these up front. This might be a little bit tricky. We're going to give it a shot here. Here we go. There's that one. See how it sits in there? And then it doesn't really matter on this one, I don't think. Let's double check with the truck cover or the side frames and make sure that it's going to do what it's supposed to. I think it goes this way. Maybe not. Maybe it goes like this. You just got to make sure that it lines up right. I'll set this to the side for the moment. I want to double check these and just make sure I put this one in correctly. I think it goes, let's see. Hard to remember. I may have to go yank one off the shelf and take a look, because sometimes when I do so many different repairs, so many different styles, and in the Tycos there were multiple styles. So I'm just trying to make sure I get it right. I think that's how it went. I think it went just like this. Because they're not made They do offset a little. Well, this one doesn't offset. I take that back. Because the reason why the other one's offset is because of the gears on the wheels. Well, if I'm putting two in that don't have the gears because it's not a motorized setup, well, there's no need for it. So I think it went like that. And it seems to fit on there like it does. Worst comes to worst, I just have to take it apart and put it back together. So we're going to go like this for the rear. I'm going to put my spring in. There we go. Maybe. Okay. And you see it's got that hole on the top that lines up with that spring. So we'll slip that on there. Pop that in like that. I'm going to try to tuck this coupler in while I do this. These are made to come off here, but I try not to because they're kind of brittle. And I've had problems with them breaking before. So I'm trying to put the horn hook through the hole without boogering it up. Here we go. Okay. And there it is, just like that. So that's how that's going to sit. I wanted to kind of mock it up and see how it was going to look ahead of time. That shouldn't be too bad. Okay, and now I'm going to take it off and go ahead and set the wheels in there. And the wheels shouldn't make any difference since one side's insulated and one side's not. And I say it's insulated because it's got plastic on one side and metal on the other. There we go. Okay, that's out. Let me find my foam here. Set this body on. I really don't want to scratch the paint up. I did such a tremendous job at painting it. Okay. Get our grease. I have a dielectric lube that I'm going to put on. Don't take much, just enough to make sure the wheels turn real easy. Probably didn't put enough. Let's see here. Get just a little more. There we go. Same there. Well, not quite the same. Get some more out of this one. It's not going to take a ton. It's not like it's an actual running locomotive. So we'll have that. Put my axles in. I'm just going to try to make sure that whatever side I do, I keep them opposite. I don't think it's going to make a difference with it not being a powered locomotive, but I'm not going to take any chances. We'll take our truck and slip it in. Like I said, this is kind of tricky. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it ain't the easiest either. Let's save that one for the front and put this one on here. Probably help if the horn hook wasn't in there, but we're gonna do our best to try to get it anyway. Let's see here. Don't know. I was looking to see if I could see messages while I'm doing this, some matches will be visible. There we go. That way I can see what's going on if somebody sends a message. It should pop up now. I was hoping I wasn't missing anything. But what we're trying to do here is trying to get this truck to slip in this hole without having to fight and take the hole, this piece off, because this piece is kind of brittle. There we go. Perfect. That one's on. Now I just need my screws. I believe they're all in here. I may have put them in my... Yep, I put them in the bolt bin, I think. We'll pull this dude open and see what we got going on here. Get my little magnetic screwdriver. Maybe, if I can find it. Sometimes I lose things. I'm not very good at keeping... I've never been good at it. My tools are... I'm terrible about misplacing tools sometimes. That's them right there. But I need a magnet. Need a screwdriver with a magnet on it. Let's see here. Got all the screwdrivers in the world, just ain't got one that can pick them up. Let's see here. There we go. There's one. I have a hard time deciphering the difference. This one got the fine thread screws? Yes. Okay. I could have swore I left them with my deals, but I guess I didn't. I didn't leave them with the motor. So they got to be these here. And this one here's got parts in it, but those are not the parts I need. That's all random stuff that's unneeded. So these got to be it. So this one. This one. I gotta have a magnet. This is gonna drive me nuts. Drive me nuts. Get a magnet. A magnet, a magnet, a magnet. Where is my screwdriver with the magnet on it? That'll work. Can't find the screwdriver, you just find a magnet on a bit. That works out well. Okay. And then you just pick through and find what you need. That's one of them. That's one of them. I need 3 more. Thread count is different on that one. There we go. There's 1, 2, and 1 more. It's in there. It's just a matter of getting it. There it is. Perfect. There's the screws. All right. Now, get started with these. Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Oh, don't fall. Come on. Okay. Take my little bitty screwdriver. Tell me these are the right screws. Yeah, they're the right, maybe. Yep, they were just a little high there. I was trying to pull them down into place. I thought I had the right ones. Let's make sure everything free rolls. That middle one's pinched. I'll have to back that one off just a tad. Part of me wonders if I should be putting Loctite on these screws with me having to back them off a little. That one ain't quite right. There we go. There we go. There we go. And that one's still tight. Back it off a little bit. That should work. There's 1, there's 2. There's 3. Okay, cool. Looks to be that the back side is together. I'll tighten that one just a touch. Yeah, you can see one sticks out a little further than the rest. I think it's just a little twisted or a little bent. These cheaper Tycos, sometimes they don't quite work the way you want them to sometimes. But that looks like that's going to work good for the back. And now let's try to get the front done. The front was one that I think was going to be a little bit of a challenge. And I'm hoping and praying that we get this one right. And I don't lose the spring that just fell off of it. Now I gotta go spring hunting. Oh, I hate that. Oh, there it is. I can see it. I can see it. There it is. Okay. Try that again. And it's back in the hole. Okay. Of course you would. You see, naturally it doesn't fall in there where it's easy to get out. It's going to fall where it's a pain in the neck. Nothing's easy in this world. It don't seem to be. Come on. So one thing about these springs they put in there were kind of an ingenious idea. If they would stay where they're supposed to, I wouldn't complain. But, oh man, they get jammed down in there, and then you got to take things apart and put them back together 60 times to try to get them to work. There it is there. It's moved over there. Now it's moved over here. There we go. Okay, try this again. Aggravating to say the least, but could be worse. Put it on here. And then looking at this, I believe, stay up there. Come on. I don't need you falling over and knocking that spring out again. Then I got to go hunt the spring. Looks like they set off to that side. So I got money. They're going to need to set off to this side on this side. So we'll lock that in ever so carefully. And that's just, I guess, just dried grease. Speaking of grease, we need to put some in there. There we go. Not that much, naturally. We're going to split that up amongst the three slots. Like so. We'll set the three in there, and this side we're going to put the gold or the metal ones to the opposite side. Like this. If I don't knock them out first. I don't know why there's a random hair there. Okay. Probably the dog's hair. Now we'll put the truck cover on. See if we can't get that in there where it goes. Worst comes to worst, I can take the coupler out. It's not like it's a huge ordeal, but I was trying to do it. Actually, it's a good question as to why I'm trying to do it this way. I guess I'm just like to be a little difficult on myself sometimes. Make things harder than it really has to be. And there goes a wheel. Get in there. Fine, get out of there. If you're going to be like that, you can go over there. And if I could get it to stay standing, it would help me a ton. But you can see this, all you got to do here is just twist it in half, apparently. Come on. Come on, pop. Typically, that's all you got to do is just give it just a little twist and they pop right out. But this one is being obstinate. There we go. That's all I needed right there. And then once it comes sideways like that, then it should just slide. Or it can just make me look like a total fool, one or the other. There it goes. Then it slides out. But that's what it looks like. You just pop them in there like that. Locomotive's trying to make a liar out of me. Okay. I'll go here. And look, that's how easy it was. Just take out the hooks. Don't fight it. Just take out the hooks. Okay. I'll have to make that a slogan or something. Just take out the hooks. Just shut up and take out the hooks. There's 1, 2, 3. And I do want to get handrails for these eventually. And I think I'm going to end up, what I'm going to do is buy the stanchions. And then I'm just going to buy piano wire to do the actual rails themselves. And then once I get them all installed, so I'm not chipping the paint off in that, then I'll go back and put the paint on them. I've bought some new paint brushes that are like real fine tip paint brushes. When I say fine tip, they're not much bigger than trying to paint with the toothpick. That should work really well. That one works good. That one works good. This one's too tight. Back it off a little. That's better. Okay. Let's turn it over. Let's try to slip this hook in. I'm trying to do this on screen. Bear with me. When you got really big hands, a really small screen, and a really little spot to work, it makes it really difficult sometimes to try to get into where you want to be. Sometimes it can make it an out and out nightmare. There we go. We're getting closer. Okay, hang on a minute. I cannot do that while I'm on the screen. Just can't be done. Because I can't work at it and you talk about obstinate. I didn't think it would be so dang difficult, but there it goes. There it goes, finally. I got to get that little tab down in there, and we're going to be set. Come on, come on, come on. Hold that to the one side. Maybe. All right, now that I got it in there, let's see if I can't get that ear to come down. Because right now it's wanting to hold it over here, which is unhooking, and it needs to hold it the other way. And I am having a heck of a time getting that little spring-loaded ear down in there where it goes. Okay, let's try this again. Retainer clips in there. Oh, not anymore. Holy cow, I have never had one be this outright difficult. Normally I get them popped right in, it's no big deal, we put it together and voila. But this one, for whatever reason, is being a pain. A straight up pain. See, so I can get it in there like that, but the ear's up, and I can't, or that little spring, and I can't get the little spring to pop down in there where it's supposed to go. I've never seen one act like that. Oh. Oh, I think I got it. I did. About time. Okay. There it goes. That's what I wanted. So now we have a 1708 Norfolk Western, which 1708 isn't the right number. It's supposed to be 1130 to 1139, but we're going to do fairy tale road numbers today for all you rail counters out there. So there we go. There's that. I've already got the mat on it. It doesn't look terrible on top. I have one little spot here, and I do not know what that is, but I am going to touch that up right there. And I don't know how that happened. I don't remember doing it. But yeah, here we go. It's all together. I don't know if I got a little grease or something there. There we go. It's got a little bit of a wet spot there. But yeah, so she's all together. Like I said, it's not a powered one, but it's definitely going to be something that's going to look good being pulled around the track. I want to see how my wheels are doing here. I think that one's fine. That one's tight. So I'm going to have to adjust these just a little bit. There, that one's fine. That one's still just a smidge tight. I don't know how, but it is. And I greased them so that we could try to get a nice, good roll out of them. I think maybe they just needed some negotiating done there. There's that side and that side. There we go. Much better. Now if only I could get it to zoom in where I want it to. But yeah. It's not perfect by any means quite yet. I think it just needs some more time rolling and maybe getting broke in. But you can't beat that. Not for taking something like this, which the one I did was a chassis system. You can see this one's been broke. I don't know if I'll be able to glue that and then paint this into something else. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, you can't beat repainting one up like that to do. And now for more of the thing that I wanted to get to this evening. Now that one's finished. This is a athearn blue box, an old blue box. I'm not sure how old exactly. We're going to take the shell off and find out. Looks like it's got plastic wheels. But this is a brand new, undecorated athearn blue box. At least that's what the ad told me. I'm going to see if it'll sit up like this. Okay. So we got our package of parts. I hear a bunch of stuff clattering around in there. Let's see what we got in here. Where's my... There it is. We're going to go this route. I'm pretty sure this is going to be like the truck details and maybe the horn and a few other things if I don't mess up my fingers in the process here. I'm trying to get this to... There it goes. Well, so I thought. I was trying to make a nice clean cut along the envelope, and you see how well that went. And I think what I'm going to do with this paper envelope is I think I'm going to put all the contents right here. Yeah, every last bit of it. Make sure it's make sure it's clean and there ain't nothing left in there. Yep. It looks like everything's here. We have a coupler. I don't know. Maybe this was used. We have a coupler box here that's broke. I'll have to get one of those. It comes with a horn hook couplers. Put those there. I've got my, that looks like one of the safety rails that goes across the front up to the cab. And there's the other one. No, that's for the rear or the front. Let's scoot this back a little. Here we go. I'm going to use my tweezers because this is going to make life easy. My big hands won't be in the way. There's one for the front. There's one for the rear. This is probably the lights and stuff. Put that there. Couplers, coupler box. I got a broken coupler box. This is for one of the trucks. Those look like mirrors. I might be stupid. I'm not sure. Not sure what them are. I'll have to double check on those. I think this actually had a plastic deal and somebody broke all the stuff off and then just never put it together. Stanchions, here we go, 1, 2. Apparently my tweezers are magnetic. 3. There's another set. Those must be decorations for the trucks. Here's another stanchion that's bent and rusty. I think we can probably straighten that one out. Let's see here. Here's another one. There's one. So I got to fix. I never thought I'd have a pair of magnetic tweezers. I didn't think they would do that. Here's another one. And another one. Here's the horns. Looks like the horns are in good shape. More truck parts. Truck parts. Truck parts. Put that there. Get over there. Here we go. Bent. There we go. Stanchions. I don't know if there's going to be any extras here or not. I hope there are. Maybe I can start saving them to put together a different one. There it is. There's that piece right there. Sure enough, that's the broken section, or the broken part of the coupler. Of that piece. I'll have to see if I can find some of them. And the rest of that looks like just stanchions. They all look to be the same length, so I don't have that problem. And I've only got one that's bent. Let me take some needle nose pliers here real quick. I'm going to straighten that one. I'm not going to put this together this evening, but I'm going to lose my head if it wasn't attached, I tell you what. So here we go. We're going to turn that up, and we're going to see if I can't smash it back straight. Just kind of roll my screwdriver. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, that helped it a ton. It's not perfect, but it is definitely straighter than it was. I don't know if I can. Let's see here. I got tweezers. Maybe I can hold that up straight like that and smash that straight. There we go. Look at that. Didn't break it in half. Nice and straight. All my stanchions are there. I got my front. I got my rear. I got my side to side. All my truck parts. I have the one broken coupler box. Not sure if that has anything to do with anything here or if it just broke. Actually, it does. That's what those are. You glue those in. Those are I got to take the shell off. Those are the, boy, if it wasn't for anything at all, I couldn't talk. They're for the road numbers, the light up road numbers. So now we have the locomotive. Looks to be in decent shape. Nothing's broke front or rear. It doesn't look like it was any of that stuff was ever put on, but they actually, it's a newer athearn, actually, bluebox. It's still a bluebox, but see, it's got the clips to hold the shell on instead of the tabs along the sides, which is nice to see. So it is a newer model. I can see the light inside the cab. We're going to go ahead and see if I can't get the shell off. And once I get the shell off, we'll see just exactly what we got going on inside. I'm going to make the assumption we're in good shape, but you know what they say about assumptions. There we go. Okay, so we've got some kind of a mess under here. Okay, oh wow. Okay, so for some reason or another, we got stuff all out of sorts here. Our motor mount is extremely dry rotted and brittle. It's hard as a rock. It does look like the commutator has been used. Shows wear. One of our couplers for the drive line is not doing what it's supposed to. I'm just curious if this is going to run at all. I'm going to pull this back and try to line this up and slip it in place, and then try to set the motor back in place, and we'll go from there. I'm going to take this off for the moment, and since this already wants to come out, we may do some finagling with the motor mounts. I'm not sure yet. It's going to end up having to have a set ordered now. I know that for sure. Yeah. That's kind of a bummer, but hopefully we can get it to run just temporarily. There's the drive line on that side. Now I can work on the one back here since the light ain't in the way. I can slide this over that way just a little bit. Hopefully just enough to get tweezers. Here we go. Get that up there. Like I said, these are so hard to work on for me. I'm so happy I'm not doing in-scale stuff, because if I was, there's no way I could work on these without having some kind of a microscope or something. There we go. Now I just got to get it in the right position. There we go. And now for the motor mount. And since this one's come apart, I'm going to go ahead and show you. If you look, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. Here we go. If you look underneath, there's a copper tab. And the way it works is the frame picks up power from one side, and then the bar picks up power from the other. So, come on, don't come out. There we go. So I'm hoping this one motor mount is in good enough shape. There we go. You've seen pieces, if you've seen pieces fly, that's kind of how these are. These motor mounts are. They get weak, and that's in good. Those look like the worm gear deals are in good. I'm just going to take this and set it on the track and see if I can get it to work. Such a shame that those motor mounts are in such bad shape, but that's nothing that can't be replaced. I'll move this back a little. I'm going to put some power to the track, and we're going to give her a shot and see how she does on the test track. I'm hoping we get some kind of a reaction out of it, considering it's an undecorated, look to be lightly or little used locomotive. Definitely some kind of used. I was hoping it was brand new, But that's just not the case, and sometimes that happens when you get these auctions and stuff. Okay, we have no power pickup whatsoever. Oh, no wonder. If I was, if I had any brain at all, I would have realized that I hadn't put this back on. It's not going to work without that, that's for sure. Okay, there we go. Now we got that under there. Bend that ear back down. Looks like that one's where it's supposed to be. Now let's see what we get. Still, nothing. Let's make sure that I plugged in the right cord. I thought I did. Yeah, it's plugged in. I got power. I got power running to the track. That's all one piece of rail. The motor is not seized. I'm going to tinker with it a little bit here and see if I can get something out of it. Because if I can get something out of it, that means that it's not totally done for. And I got a feeling it's got to do with them bad motor mounts, but we're gonna see here. I'm curious as to why if it's not, why I'm not getting power underneath. If I take, oh well, that could be part of it right there. I didn't have it plugged in the right slot. We're gonna try this one more time. We should have had power. I had everything together, and the reason why is because my controller wasn't plugged in correctly. There we go. And it is loud. It definitely is in need of some lube. Let's see if I can get that to zoom over there. I want you to be able to see and hear the amount of noise this thing is making. But I am applying very little power, and I am getting a good response out of it. So I've got some definite work ahead of me here to try to get this thing straightened out. But we're not too far off from having something that runs halfway decent. And in the meantime, I can take the shell and throw a coat of paint on it and set it up for the paint scheme I want while I work on the locomotive itself. So there you have it. I've got all the parts for it. I just have one broken truck box, or not truck box, I'm sorry, coupler box, which isn't the end of the world. I have a broken motor mount on this one, which isn't the end of the world. I can probably find a couple of them for fairly cheap. And once I get that all straight, it looks like if I put a little oil on it and clean the commutator, put some grease in the gearboxes, we should have a decent running little athearn locomotive, and it'll be a GP50, which is something that I don't think I have any GP50s. I've got a lot of 38-2s and a couple other things, but otherwise, this should be a good runner. There we go. I've got some drive lines slapped there going on that I'm going to have to figure out. I think it may be that I don't know why they run the drive line so they made it so tall like that, unless it doesn't have the proper motor mounts in it or something, or they've just gotten so hard and brittle that it's just not going to flex like it should. I'm not sure. But anyway, you cut it. That's what I got going on this evening. I got the one roller done, and now I've got this athearn to start and run, and we're going to see if I can't get this sucker on the road. I'll put up a full video of this one here in the future. So thanks everybody that stopped by this evening and said anything, or I'm not sure if I can see the messages or not. Doing this horizontally, I figured they'd pop up, but maybe, hey, maybe nobody said anything yet. But thanks for watching if you made it this far, and everybody have a good evening.